Okay, so little by little they give us some other things we can do with our data. So for instance here they're talking about paired data. You could think of sort of like an XY pair, but this is just a pair. So Paris Hilton, I have no idea if you all know who that is. It was kind of funny, there was a big scandal. We were talking about the Paris Hilton scandal, and I thought they were talking about the actual Hilton Hotel somewhere in Paris, but no, that's one of the daughters in the current family is Paris, um, and so I don't know if they have like Chicago Hilton, kids name that or anything, but at any rate, there is a Paris Hilton, and um, so here they're assigning year born uh, like this, but you can put that into a list, as we've seen lists before. So I've got a list of these pairs. So 3 celebrities and their birth dates, I guess, or birth years. And so if you print, once I've assigned that, if you print it, it says, oh, it's going to print out the list like that. If you just want the length, it's going to give you 3. Now, why is it going to give you 3? Well, because there are 3 items in the list. Now, those items have 2 parts each, but there are only 3 items in the list. Okay, and here they show then a nice for loop to sort through and only get the years that they want. Okay, so prior to 1980 is what they wanted, and let's see, so we can kind of put all that together ourselves. We don't need the year born thing, but we do need the celebs. And so we'll go here. So there's our okay, so let's I'll do that one at a time here. Let me get the celebs to there. That should paste all right. And then I'll add the other one, Justin Bieber. Oh, what happened to Paris Hilton? We should toss her in there too. So we'll put Paris in there as well. And we'll put her in, well, it doesn't matter where she goes, I guess, because these are not in chronological order. So there's Paris. I can just go here, put it there, put a comma, maybe a space, put a space there. Okay, there's celebs. So I've got a list of 4 in that case. And then the next thing was the print those just to kind of look at them. If I can get hold of that. There we go. Alright. And then we did a for loop where we only want to print out the name of the particular celeb's years that we want. So is that spacing not right? I don't think that's right. There we go. Now the if is green. Okay, so this should print out, and then it says just print the name. So it said for each pair in celebs, so we should have 4 of them in this case. But since it's the 1980, we'll only still have the 2 birthdays there. And so there's my list. It's a list of size 4, and there's Brad Pitt and Jack Nicholson. Okay. and we'll continue into the nested loops for data, in that here, notice what they have is they have a list that contains pairs, but one of the pieces of the pair is another list itself. Okay, so I don't know if I can copy and paste this in easily or not. We'll see if it yells at me. Yeah, it did it just fine. So there I have my data in there, the students. And then what we do here is going to be a double loop, because what they want to do is, okay, so Python agreeably responds with the following output. If we then say for names and subjects in students, print the name, takes, and number of subjects, courses. Yeah, okay. And they're using that length term there. So I'll put that in and run that, and there we go, we get their output. Okay, so that is working just like we expected. But then they say, but now we'd like to ask, for instance, how many students are taking comp sci? This needs a counter for each student, and for each student we need a second loop that tests each of the subjects in turn. Okay, so we're going to do this for every subject, but then, or for names and subjects, but then once we get subjects, we need, for that particular name, we need to go through them and check if any of them are computer sci, and then do the count. And here they're doing the count, assign equals here, or increase in equals. And so that's you know, a nice addition to that. So we'll do those first, and then we'll add that with the counter, and do this sort of thing again. And what we see is the number of students taking comp sci is 3. And we can visually check that and see that yes, that is the case. The first 3 students have comp sci in their list of courses there. Okay, so we kind of had a list within a list here, right? A sublist for each of these, and so we used the outer loop here to get to each pairing of John and classes, Lucy and classes, Jess and classes, and so forth. That was the outer loop. But then once we have this, we could do an inner loop to iterate through the list of courses. Okay, so we'll call that good for this video.